Yeah.
All right, guys. So, good morning. Um,
So I have a question. Yeah. If the
um,
same day we got
so
the
we basically finished
deal
that
from
first data day, which I will grade them today.
yeah. Well,
So
this is
for
not
those of
because
you who
like
like submit late for the first data day, that's perfectly okay.
you're not gonna get.
Uh, the maximum,
So like
like, I don't really care how long that you was
maybe like
late. It's
it's like
basically 2 points taken away. But if you not submitting like
you have extra credit, but you
um
also lose out.
at the end of the
It's
day, I will basically don't count.
but
I'm sorry, I will basically
you're not
don't
a
take away
computer
two
help.
points.
But
Okay.
I only have
The
800.
only case that I take away point is when you submit it like so late, like 5 hours late or something like
Everyone
that.
why to get the
Um, yeah. Question.
No. So you get 5 credits per
Um,
workshop
okay.
assignment. That means that if you
Um,
do the math anxiety one,
any
you get five
question?
credits
Any
for that
concern?
one, but you can't do the math anxiety one twice and get 10 credits. Okay. Yeah, you only get like five.
I would recommend you
You
guys
guys
like
maybe do this one,
to
and then this one you will get.
read.
It's a matter of like I do this one and do
So making sure you're gonna read
well, the
the
same
data day
just
instruction.
they have different windows where they do
Okay, like it's like a like the instruction guide before review the data day. Okay,
no, these are just different part. Exactly. Like this is just different
the
options.
instruction guide
Like maybe you are
like
busy on
before the data
Tuesday.
day,
For example, like on Tuesday we have class.
and
Well,
then
this
don't
Tuesday
forget to
on Tuesday we have class from 12 from like in
you
the
bring a
night. So
laptop,
maybe you can
right?
go in the evening, or maybe you can go on Wednesday.
Laptop with you.
Like it's just like they are giving you different options so that you can
So
for you.
you can
But
always
if you
like
don't go to
make the graph or something for the instruction. So when I pull up the data date, so you can just complete
just go to one
the remaining questions, you can and then you can answer it. So that's gonna take you uh fewer time to complete the project. And after my instruction, you will get like 1 hour and 15 minutes plus 10 minutes work to get your data day done. It's for the second data, third data day, and the fourth data day. Okay. Um, yes. Um,
first year. Yeah, yeah, just started.
yeah, so after the midnight, usually it's not working. But you can take the makeup data day. Like I said, the makeup data is like it's similar to the data day that we have, except that you allowed you have one day to submit your work. It's pretty similar question. Now you have to submit it. I'm gonna
See, like, oh,
I'm gonna make a file, right? I'm gonna make a files here. You can make them up. You can make up the data day. I would say make up data day one. And then
you can. I mean,
so
this
you can basically read the instruction and
just keep it up. You did this one.
and then
Oh,
so you're gonna get
it's the total homework.
like 80
It's like
points.
all of the homework.
I'm sorry, it's 18. I'm so sorry. It's 18 out of 20, so it's still be 100. But this one gonna count like 18 out of 20. So I would say the maximum grade you can get will be 90 out of 100. So this is the thing that
I finished.
you know
What we see. Oh, you're
I
good.
would take
Okay, so
that.
yeah.
Okay.
But I have a question.
All right. Any questions, any concern that you might have so far?
It's only the highest score.
Yeah, you don't see them until I set up the makeup.
You don't need to.
Okay.
So you don't need to do it 3 times.
This
If
is
you
20
get
points.
perfect, for example,
It's not like
if you get
100
the perfect
point.
score the first time around, you don't need to do 200. Like
All right.
the first time you don't feel.
Any question, any concern before we start up the
My
yeah.
objective in the
So
class is for you guys to
you can
succeed. So
if you cannot make up the data date,
I think I need to do
now you can just make it up on a certain day. I will give you some time for that, okay? So I will,
there's
yeah.
no reason.
No, of course not. If you submit it, if you already submit it, that's perfectly fine. If you submit it late, uh, it's perfectly fine. But if you haven't submitted, remember the data they cannot take like the whole day to complete. it's only give us like the same amount of time that we have in class, similar to that section.
Basically, the way it works is.
We're gonna work on the objective 3 together. If you work independently, I would guarantee you it's gonna take you more than an hour to complete them. Okay.
A little past that.
Yes.
And then classes stop. So
Which is why I will recommend you guys, please, if I'm doing some objective 3 or something like that, let me share my screen first. It is what we have here, right? This is assignments that make up that day 1. You don't see anything until I open it. I got 25 submission. I think we have 20 people in this class, so it's 3 of you have to make up the data day. It's very important to get your data day complete. Like I said, if you follow the instruction, most likely I will give you like between 18 to 20 points. If you was late, you got 20, you got 18. That's the maximum grade you can get, between 16, 17, or 18 points. So which is why submitting on time is very important to get full credit for it. Because once you get full credit for the data date plus full credit for the objective, even if your exam one's like 70 or something, that still be okay to get like an A minus or B plus in this class. If you do well on the test, you do well on the objective, you messed up the data date, it's not worth it because the data date should be very, very straightforward. Okay, I sent up the solution. Sorry, the study guide, just follow the instructions, write up a good paragraph, and you will definitely gonna get at least like 17 points. Unless you don't do what I asked you to do, then you're gonna lose some credit for that. Okay, at least 17.
So it's important that you get to the final, like very.
The instruction guide that I sent it under the announcement,
So that you can,
which is
and those will be.
I sent them by email, I believe. I'm not quite sure yet, but it's under the data day guide, right? So I set up the instructions based on that, right?
Yes.
Remember, losing point from the data day might stop you from getting A or A plus in this class. So like I said, it's not worth it. So I really want to make sure, like, I really want to make sure that people read out the instructions like a day before the data day, so you can know exactly what you're supposed to do. It's just like a few clicks. You click on it, the model, you know all of the functions on JASP, and then you should be able to complete the data day on time, 100%. Are we good? All right. So, and
So
we're gonna have like 4 data days in total.
this was
4 data days. So when it comes to the data day, so please bring your laptop with you. If you don't have a laptop, you won't be able to complete
essentially
like the data day on time, obviously. So you might have to do the makeup data day, which maximum point can give you will be 18 out of 20.
62.
Which is 90%. So I don't want people to lose point for that class. I really want you guys to do well because some of you might be in a nursing major, requires like a really good GPA, especially in STEP 113.
It means that.
All right, so I think that's clear enough. For the first one, if you was like a few minutes late, that's perfectly okay. So I won't take away points. But starting from the second data day, let's say we have a class start at 10 and then an instruction like 20 minutes. And then from 10:20, you're gonna get an hour and 20 minutes plus 10 minutes to submit your work. So you have to submit your work by then. Are we good? So very punctual. Anyway, so I believe that we have finished the 2 objectives, and it reflects a certain grade. I have seen people finish objective 3, objective 4, which is fantastic. But if you finish it too early, you might not be able to have the data. You might not have enough like the question like post knowledge check because, like I said, the exam question was based on the objective questions, right? So you might have to do the post knowledge check later on before the exams. So that might be a little bit more for you guys to get it done. Okay, so So let's start up with the objective 3, so which is a very important objective that we have in class, objective 3.
You want your final grade to
And
be
this
8.
one is
So you want the
simply
median of this side. And then
like
your
the scatter
exponent
plot
of the grade to get in the final
and
grade.
correlation.
Now, you know that that is going to be counted.
Okay, so this is very
So
important.
that's going to be
And then we're gonna go over our objective 3
plus
today.
all these.
Okay, so the scatter
plus
plot
75
is simply you're gonna have something like
62.
this. Okay.
Plus 80.
And
plus
I do
68.
make a little typo right here.
And then
So
what you're doing here is you want to take the average, right?
Divided by 4.
Careful, not divided by 4, divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how you weigh it.
Because I don't understand what means the 4 test.
all right, if
I divided by 5.
the correlation denoted by
That
R,
still that's a fair.
we have to complete the
I
module
understand, like,
knowledge
mistake
check.
when I expected most
Um,
mistakes to be. I think I'll still be able to give you like partial.
I think that you
Like,
still
okay,
have to complete the
partial.
knowledge check,
Still
but
get, like,
it's optional for some reason.
like
It just literally reminds you that, hey, this question might be on the exam, so let's take more practice. If you don't
and then,
complete them, like
this,
I wouldn't say it's matter that much because like I said, it's just
I see.
something that we took the exam, right? And the third exam based on the first two objective. If you did not complete them, it's perfectly fine, except for the final knowledge check. That's count 5% to your final grade. Other knowledge check just for you to review before the exam, right? Because the exam question was based on the objective question.
Well, the questions do make sense.
Are we good?
I don't.
All right. The correlation is simply denoted by R. Is a correlation, right? It's a word for that. So the R was bounded between -1 and 1.
English is so.
So when they have like the R equal to -1, it's just like a linear line. Is negatively correlated.
If the question was ambiguous, I promise
yeah,
you, like,
and then when the R equal to 1 is a perfectly positively correlated.
But when it comes to interpretation problems, this.
So if you cannot start the objective, I don't
I
understand. You might have to complete them fast, but like I said, so you can take a picture, but you can look back to my notes at home when just try to complete the post module. But I can check it for you if you sort of like, well, you good, you don't necessarily have to practice more. I can check the module, so I can check them. Okay, so let's see. But we need to have the module objective 3. Let's see. Okay, I think you should be able to start. Let's tell me if you can start the objective 3. All right. So, like I said, the scatter plot includes like the chart, like tell us some relations between two or more variables. But like I said, this is like the 2-dimension graph, so we're literally gonna focus on the like 2 variables only. The x represent the like the horizontal axis, the y is represent the vertical axis, so we can have this one is like -1, so we have this perfectly negatively correlated, so we can see that those points will line up in a straight line when it's sort of going downwards, but it's not perfect negative correlation. So we can see that the R will be very close to -1, but not exactly -1. So when you see the graph has the R equal to 0.08, basically means that it still be a little positive, but actually there's no correlation. Right? So usually very, very little correlation that we can have. When all the point was like, so usually no correlation, or very weak correlation. When the point was like perfectly lining up in a straight line, so we have a positive correlation, perfectly positively correlation when the R was like going upward the line. But like I said, it's not matching on the same line, which is what we have on the data set. It's a very strong positive correlation. And when the curve has different model, but not the linear model, so this have no correlation. I know it's basically, it might have like a like half circle correlation or polynomial function correlation, but it's not going to count. So this is what we need to know. And then another thing that we have to know would be the y equal to mx plus b. The m is going to be the slope to represent the ratio between the rise overruns. Okay, so the m we call the slope.
不认，
Sorry,
那你
it's
好不好？那我不了，
过来了才了。
不碰了，不碰。
okay. So I got a mute a little bit because I hear some noises, and it just rise over one, right? But you don't necessarily have to worry too much about that. The slope can be computed. I still remember that I tried to prove the slope of the regression line by plotting those points using calculus perspective a long time ago. It's going to take too long. We just simply have to know how to plug that in. When x increase by ones and y going to decrease or increase by the factor of the slope, right? And then the b going to be called the one set. Like I said, it also can also be foul on the line. We call the least square equation, which is called a 1%. Okay. All right. So if you want to know what it is that the predictions, right? So usually we only predict the data sets, right? So when I write up the y equal to mx plus b, meaning that we're going to use the x. Y equal to mx plus b, meaning that we're going to use the x to predict the y variable, right? So this means we use x. We use x, which is called independent variables, to predict the y, right? To predict the y variables, right? So y is called dependent variables, okay? And then so of course that we should have like some raw data set. The raw data sets we call like a y. So they always have like a pair point, the pair value between x and y. So x and y, x and y, x and y. But the prediction might not be the same value. I'll show you what it is later on. Okay. So the raw data set is like coming from the data, right? So it's different. It's different from the predicted data. All right. So okay, so let me give you a graph like that, and then we quickly go to the notes. All right, so let's say this one is a raw data set, right? This is the y is raw data set. So let's say y equal to like 5 point something. But with the same x, we also get this is the predicted data set. So the predicted data sets must be found using the x values on the regression lines, right? By computing using x, right? Using x from the line, from the regression line, y equal to mx plus b. Okay. So the predicted data set must be found by plugging the same value of x into the equation and then get the predicted data set. Then the raw data might have different values, of course, coming from the from our collections of a data set points. And then the difference between the raw data sets and the predicted data set we call the residual, okay? And which is the y hat minus, which is the difference between the predicted data set values and the raw data set value. So the bigger the residual, the more far away from from the raw data and the predicted data set value. So meaning that, the line is like too far away from the point that we're trying to use them. So it just also tells us how strong correlation um, between those data set points. So so let's say you have some point that are very close to the line, so they should have like a very small residual. So if the gap getting big, so it might not be validated. For that reason, so we cannot modify the data set values. So now let's go to the lecture, the um, the first question. So you can basically check. This one is very straightforward. It's gonna ask you, as the theory revenue increase, the rental revenue tend to increase as well, right? For these 21 movies, there is a positive correlation. And then you use the best fit, right? The least square, the best fitted light. We can predict that a movie $40 would generate, so $40 would generate around like 8 point something, right? 8.5. Are we good? So 40 hours, it generates 8.5, right? Are we good? Is that good, people? So any question? No question, right? Are we good? All right, please ask question if you have any of them, because like I said, I'm not gonna go over any of these because this question will not be on the final exam, will not be on the test. So this is the predicted value, like when x equals to 40, right? So we can predict that the y was something that, so when x equals to 40 is different from the data set point that we have right here. This is the raw data, right? When x equals to 40, so the real data set will be like 5 or something, but the predicted data set will be right here, will be like 8.5 or something around that. Are we good? It should be on the line. The predicted value must be on the line. Are we good? All right. Let's move up to the next example. Which data set give us the strongest negative linear relationship? It should be the UV, right? It's obviously. And which data set give us not perfect but linear relationship? Um, Negative linear relationship. So negative should be uh XY, something like that, which data set is give us the average strong non-linear relationship between two variable. Um, Non-linear relationship which have to be M and N, and then which data set indicate the perfect positive linear relationship between the two variables. It have to be W and T. Are we good? It's none of the data set. Oh, none. So it's none of this. Perfect. So this one have to be perfect. So this is not perfect at all. So we have none. This is very straightforward. You can just try it on perfect negative. It have to be like this. Uh, Strongest positive linear relationship, we have to be this one. Not strong, show is non strong non-linear relationship. You should be like this part, XY, and then we have not perfect but linear relationship negative, which is M and N. Are we good? So this one just have to identify them. So which data appear to show like a negative relationship between two? So you have to figure two, right? So this one is very straightforward. Positive, negative. This is perfect, right? So no relationship between two variables should be this part. Negative relationship, positive relationship, linear. Are we good? It's just like something really straightforward from when you're just looking at the graph. And then nonlinear is 1, negative is 2, positive is 4, and then no relationship is 3. Okay, so yeah, for that part, for that objective, the question gonna give us like that equation, which is y equal to 0.18x plus 6.18, right? So all we have to do is we're gonna use the graph here. You don't necessarily need the graph for this, but okay. And then we're going to answer those two questions.
Thanks later. Bye.
So all we have to do is just plug that in, just plug in like y equal to 6.18 plus 0.18 times times 3.7, right? And then we just compute that on a calculator so we can get the answers quickly. Oh, it's increases. It's increasing, so we can just compute that on a calculator. You can just get it done. A 6.864. And something like that, just do exactly the same thing for part B and you can get to the final answers quickly. Or 6, I'm sorry. Are we good? So that one is just 6.85, and then just plug that in to 1.67, and you can answer the question as well. Any question, any concern? Yeah. Yeah, it's not a big deal for that question. Just plug that in. Then if we start with this question, like I said, it's literally going to be the same question. But it's gonna ask us like different things with the observed value. So the observed value is based on the graph, right? So the observed value, which is called the raw data set values, is coming from the raw data, right? That's this one from the raw data set. So it says 29.5. It's right here. So the observed value should be 28. Okay. So the observed value had to be 28. However, if you're using the regression line, the predicted value is different. So we're going to compute it on using graph, using the regression line that we have given, which is point 41.59 minus 0.49x. So we're going to plug that in. You take 41.59 minus 0.39 times 29.5. So we're going to do that on a calculator. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Oops, it's undefined. So I have to do the math. 41.59 minus 0.49 times 29.5. So you got 27.135. All right, so right up to one or more decimal places, and then should be able to get to the finances correctly. So this one is very straightforward. I don't see any reason that you spend too much time on it. Okay, are we good? Any question? All right, so if there's no question, let's move up to the next one. For this question, you don't necessarily have to get it right. Different people, some of you might have different answer for this, but you can start with that. You can undo that. You can start here, and then you can get the slope around the corner. You can find a slope by I don't think my line is looks good, but anyway, is you can start from here or here. Okay, so the one intercept that we can see is about like 19 or something. So not to be like really strict to what we're doing. And then the slope, we can just simply find the slope between those lines. This is positive slope, right? So let's say we go up by 10, you go to the right by 10, the slope will be around 1, 1.2, 1.3, something like that. So maybe 0.93. So if you get something like 1.2, 1.3, it's perfectly okay. You just have to plug that into the calculators and you get to the final answers. So this question has different answers, and any answer that you put it down here is perfectly okay. As long as you can get the slope like close to 1 or 1 point something, you should get a full credit for it. Okay. And this one has to be a positive correlation, so that should have a positive slope. Okay, so that's what it means. Any question, any concern? Uh, can you go over which one? So I'm sorry, uh yeah. The data date was okay, I'm so sorry I didn't read the message. The data date, it have to be in person, so you get full credit. You get like 20 out of 20. So that if you want to do the makeup data day, just tell me which day that you want your makeup so I can reopen the file, or I can set up a day for you guys to work on it, like maybe over the weekend. But you can get the maximum grade would be 18 out of 20. Okay. Um, I'm not sure if I make myself clear about the data day or something. Remember, you only allowed to have like a certain time um, to get the data day complete within an hour, like within the class time. Just making sure. I'm sorry, I didn't read the message earlier. Okay. Any questions? So for this question, you might have different answers. That's perfectly fine. You don't necessarily have to get to something close to that. So if you want to stalk on the answers a little bit, I can give you the graph. Like this is 0.93x and try another. And you should get pretty much the same thing. But this one you're going to be negative, right? Because the line was like going downwards, and then when you play the points here, right? So you might get like 92, 93. It's not a problem at all. This question will not be on the exam because most of you are going to get different answers, and different answer will be accepted. Okay. All right. Any question, any concern? Whenever you see approximating, usually it's not going to be on a test. So for this question, we need to take a sample, and um, so we need to send to the calculator. So very important thing that you write them down. This is what I got from the sample. I mean, some of you might got different sample. If you got like different sample, don't be surprised. That's perfectly okay. All right. No, the data date two is like the data date two is gonna be due after the second exam. So after we took a second exam, we're gonna have data date two, so on and so forth. I think. Let me check the timeline first, and then let you know. I forgot that day is set up. All right. So after we take the sample, you need to find out how many samples that we took. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You put out 6. And then in order to compute the X bar, you have to be done on a calculator, right? So you have to send the X bar. The X bar will be this. You're gonna send the X, the times since the last eruption. So you're gonna send it to the calculator. And then you're gonna see like the X bar right here, right? A little syntax. You click on it. This is what we call the mean. So don't do it by hand because, like I said, we have a calculator available. So we always use a calculator to compute all of this syntax. So we get the answer is 12.83. Let's see how many decimal point they want to like 3 decimal places. So that's 12.833. So we do the same thing for y bar. So we just send the y bar to the calculator, which is called eruption height. We do the same thing. We take the X bar. I mean, it's just a syntax for that. We just take the average, and we add up to 32.783. So we do the same thing for the sample standard deviation. So let me just copy that just in case that we don't know how to do it. So all of these have to be done on a calculator. Okay. So we do the sample standard deviation, like I said. When it comes to the exam, you're not allowed to do that. But when it comes to this chapter, you are able to take the sample standard deviation using this function on a calculator. Okay. The sample standard deviation. Okay. So yeah, most likely statistic that we only deal with a sample size. And then after we get that statistic that we're trying to see like how much that we know of the population parameter. So we're gonna send a data set like X and then we compute this, the sample standard deviation. We got 5.672. We write up the third decimal to 2. We do the same thing for that we're gonna send a data set to the calculator for Y, and then you compute the sample standard deviation, even if it's X, it's just the sample standard deviation. We get 11.534. I'm sorry, 11.538. Are we good? Just making sure that we know what it is. So let me just send this and take this. Oops. Okay. And then we do the same thing, but you need to take the sum, right? You're gonna send XY to the calculator. Since this is XY, and then take the sum. The sum should be the syntax. Okay, the sum. All right. Any question, any concern? Are we good? All right. So afterwards, we're going to, yeah, we don't do anything by math. I would say the objective 3 is due by 28. After you finish objective 3, I would keep on reminding you, please do objective 3 immediately because objective 4 have so many topics, like 37 topics. I only have 3 days to complete, meaning that I might not have enough time like to finish all the objective 4. So make sure that you're gonna do it just on your own. The second exam is on but after you finish objective 4, there's a day for that. Let me just go there. The second exam is on October 21st. I want to set up the date like between it should between 10 a.m. in the morning, right? So okay, something like that. Okay, which is almost like a month from today, the 21st. Yeah. So you might forget a lot of stuff like you know, but anyway, let me just finish that first. And then after we compute the sum for X and Y, you're gonna get 2833.1. So this is what we have to make them up, like, right? This is what we have to make it up on a chart. And then on the next part of it, you need to hit compute. So this is what you got, the rest of the work. It's going to tell you the correlation. It's going to tell you the slope. For the objective 3, you don't necessarily have to compute the slope, but when it comes to objective 4, you have to do everything using form. So I'll show you how to do that. So this one is just very straightforward. Just compute it on a calculator, the mean, the standard deviation, the sum for x, y, and then the question going to give us the sum correlation, the slope, and the y-intercept. So the slope and the y-intercept, meaning that you're going to rewrite the equation as 1.92x plus 8.14. Okay. This is the predictive y values. And afterwards, we're going to answer the rest of the question. you should be able to rewrite the equation, which is 1.92x plus 8.14. And then the graphing usually not 8.14. You have to plot the point like 8.14. And then x equal to 0, y equal to 8.14. Yes, C. Okay. Okay. And I can plug in another point. So this one need to be exact. Let's say when x equal to 20, so it can take 1.92 times 20 plus 8.14. You got 46.54. So let's plot the point 20 and then 46.54, right? So, and then after that, I'm gonna draw a line here, and another point is over here. All right, is that good, people? And then we should predict that based on the hour. I'm sorry, the x equal to 17 hours, right? So we plug in the point. Use the x-intercepts, right? UD1 intercepts, which is x equal to 0, y equal to 0.84, and then I use another point x equal to 20. It doesn't matter, you can use any value you want to. And then y equal to 46.54, something like that. I don't quite remember. And afterwards, we're going to compute it. So the regression was done 1.92. You need to plug in 17 hours. So it's always be the x. When we top out the regression, you always have to plug in the independent variable into the equation because y, it depends on x, right? Times, let's say the question says how much? X was 17 hours times 17 plus what is the y is 8.4. Given that this is correct, generated by the system. Oops. So we got the answer 40.78. Are we good? Check. I'm missing some part. Everything is correct. Any question? Is that good, people? Is that good? Okay. All right. If there's no question, then we move up to the next objective. So please try to finish it. Is like I said, this one is relatively straightforward. I really want you guys to finish it today. We're gonna start objective 4 today as well. So there's so many objective. We have no class on Tuesday, so you must start the objective. We must start it like early. All right. You can do that again, like take a sample and then like compute all of this. You have n equal to 11, explorer, and then make sure you're gonna plug in the point correctly. This one is very important. You have to plug in the point before you can sketch the line. Did I not open it? This is post knowledge check. It should be there. The objective 3 is open. If you don't want to take post module knowledge check and check it for you, right? Yeah. No, no, no. Objective 3 and 4 are going to be on the second exam. Objective 5, 6, is going to be on third exam, 7, 8. It's 5, 6, 7 going to be on third exam. Objective 8 is going to be on exam 4, and the final exam going to be everything. Yes. I can inject the module. If you don't want to take the module, you can start objective 4 quickly. Because objective 4 is the main focus. There are only like 3 questions on objective 3. And then the rest of the question going to be objective 4. Okay, so but if you want to practice the post knowledge check, just let me know. Computing the residual, like I said, is one of the games that you play. Observed value is based on the raw data set value. So when x equal to 4, y is 5.55, very straightforward from what we have here. And when x equal to 5, and then the y equal to 6.5. So remember, this one should be from the observed value that we can see on the chart on the table. Okay, let me see. And then the chart is over here. And then we need the equation. The equation is right here. So the predicted value was based on the predicted value is based on the competition. So when x equal to 4, you can just x equal to 4 and just plug that in. So you take y equal to negative 0.5 x plus 7.55. You can use a calculator if you don't want to use the thing that we have. So you got 5.55, so that's even faster. Or that they have the same values. And then when x equal to 6.5, when x equal to 5, I'm gonna plug that into the calculator. You got 5.05. And then the residual can be computed by taking the observed value, we're taking observed value, subtract the predicted value. You're gonna get 0 for the first part. It's 6.5 minus 5.05. 6.5 minus 5.05. You got this 1.45. Okay, so the observed value is above the predicted value, so you're going to get a positive residual. When the observed value is under the predicted value, you're going to get a negative residual, so that's perfectly all right. Any question? It's 5.05. Okay, so the residual is just simply the difference between the observed values minus the predicted values. You're going to get 0. And for the other part, the residual can be computed by 6.5 minus 5.05 that you compute is right here. And then we got the answer is 1.45. Okay. Any question? Yeah, this one is relatively straightforward. All right, so if no question, then we move on to the next example. So this one is very straightforward. Let's go to the last the last question. The scatter plot. So the residual is very important. In this situation, the scatter plot look like this. You get some like the residual in this case, residual could equal to 0. This one, the positive residual, this one negative residual. The residual is similar to that. It's similar to the plot B. And the best described the line is good but not perfect, right? Good but not perfect. And then this one is you have a really big residual, big difference. Look at that. This is the graph. So it's similar to B. I'm sorry, to A. I'm so sorry, to the graph A. And then describe not appropriate model. And the bottom one, you have the residual equal to 0 because, like I said, all the lines match on the linear regression. So it's a plot C, and that's going to give us the perfect model. Are we good? Any question? All right, so that's it. This question might be on a test. Objective 3. This is objective 3. I think we still have one question identified. Yeah. This question will be on the exam as well. So if other student did not tend to have greater, so no correlations, right? That the larger student get longer commute for driver. There's a correlation between there may or may not be Caucasian. Caucasian is simply the thing that it causes one thing to happen, but like I said, there's no clue. There's no way you can say that. Do not necessarily think there's no correlation. That's it. Are we good? So let me repeat again. If the question tell you that, well, there's something, there's nothing happens. It's just say no correlation. If something happened, it's just like, well, yes, they might have some correlation, but there's no way that we can determine there's a Caucasian and no Caucasian. Causation, I'm so sorry. Are we good? All right. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Any question, any concern? Now, this one is straightforward, but this one is a very important question. So whenever I see the word does not, so there's no correlation. Having more indicate a large number, so there will be some correlation, but we don't know if there may or may not be causation. As play will stay for more shorter time, so there will be some correlation, but might not be causation. All right. I finished objective 3. Any question, any concern? All right, so if there's no concern, let me start with there will be no class on Tuesday, okay? There'll be no class on Tuesday, just making sure. This one is symmetrical model, and it's gonna be on class chapter 3. And like this is the curve that we need to know what it is. Empirical rules. Oh, I'll go like 2 more topic, let you go. So between one standard deviation, so this is like bell shape. The model is bell shape. Okay. So the difference of one standard deviation away. So we use standard deviation as the steps, and we use X bar as essential. The mean is essential. Essential points, and use the standard deviation at the steps. So there'll be one step away, it'll be 68%, and then 2 step away is 95, and 3 step away going to be 99.7%. Okay. So all we have to do is just like take the mean minus the standard deviation, take the mean plus the standard deviation, and we do so on and so forth. When it's 95%, it's going to be take away the mean minus 2 standard deviation, take away the mean plus the 2 standard deviation. All right, so let me check. The model B should be appropriate because that's symmetrical. That's the bell shape. The bell shape should look like this. Okay, so now between 20.64 and 64.08. So all we have to do, we can check. We take the mean. So so what the question asks you to do, you like 60 between 620 and 64.8.
Yeah. Oh, good.
All right, so you can do this. You can compute like a K, the number of steps, or the Z, okay? You're gonna take like 64.08 minus the mean, which is 42.36, divided by the standard deviation, which is 7.24. So once you do that, it's gonna give us some information, right? Gonna take 64.08 minus 42.36 divided by, oh my goodness, I can't do this. We have to divide first. 64.08 minus 42.36 divided by 7.24. Then we should get the answer is 3 standard deviation. So we're 3 step away.
So what do we know about the fact that
So 3 step away from the left to the right, it should be correct for both left and the right. So 3 steps and 3 steps from the mean, which is from the mean 42.36. So this one just have to be like 99.7%. Okay. So you can do the math like that. We take the any value on the left side, we can take the right. You subtract the mean divided by standard deviation, you get something like 3, that'll be 99.7. If it's like 2, that'll be 95. If it's like 1, that will be 68%. So that only for the bell shape. Okay. All right. So I feel like that's pretty much for today. Any question, any concern? All right, so if there's no question, let me take attendance and then I just call it a day. I'll see you guys next Friday. Remember, there's no class this next Tuesday, so I know that some of you might be like might not be able to catch up the work. I'm gonna keep on reminding you what's happening. Okay. So let me take attendance first. So 19, Jasminer is here.
Once you work the whole thing out and get your equation.
Malika,
It's like
Here.
form. Then
Annie,
this will be your what?
Rachel,
This guy could.
yeah, and Selena.
Part of the, that's
Selena?
Graded the exams.
No.
Oh,
Sean?
You guys grades.
Seminar?
Tuesday, and then-
Got you. Sarah? Alexis? Z Gal is here. Maureen? No. Jocelyn? Got you. Larry?
This tells me.
Nadia? All right, I think most of you here. Kareem?
This.
I think I just marked all of you present because I believe that's only 2 people was absent. All right, guys. So I will see you guys next Friday. Remember, there's no class next Tuesday. So yeah, about the data day, right? So if you're messing out, if you mess up, and then you can make up a data date. I will let people make up the data day, I would say next Tuesday, but next Tuesday we have no class. So I'm gonna postpone the data date until like the makeup data day until like next Friday. Would that be good? Yes, the school will be closed on Tuesday because of the holiday. Okay, so we have no class next Tuesday. I don't think we have class on Wednesday as well. So we have no class on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But anyway, so I will let people make up the data day class next Friday. Remember that you will be allowed like a whole day to get it done, but you all only get up to 18 points. So I really want people to get like full credit for that. Which is why I always, urge you guys to please submit it on time. All right, have a wonderful day. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Yes, I will get back to your email quickly. I had to check the email first. Yeah. You're welcome. Bye.
The equation